In psychology, the environment is often stronger than the individual. And one of the things that we've really missed in probably the last few decades is that we're really going towards a person-centric view of psychology. And that means that we really don't take a systems approach to understanding mental health, performance, anything. And this is to our detriment because the thing is that the environment is strong. This is something we learn, is that the individual does have characteristics, but the environment is very strong. And we can create really anything we want if we make an environment a certain way. For example, we know that certain environments will create learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is a leading theory of depression still to this day. What this means is that if you're in an environment in which you constantly try to do things and there's no payoff, like it just doesn't matter, you're gonna develop some type of depression most likely. And we can do this to people who normally maybe would never ever get depressed by putting them into this environment. There's really good studies on this. You can look them up. I'm not going to talk about them here. But this is something that we don't realize, and this is often what I see with people who come to me for career coaching, things like that, leadership coaching, is that they completely disregard the environment. And I hate to be kind of the bearer of bad news here, but a lot of corporate environments are not great, and they are creating this environment of learned helplessness. Like it kind of feels like no matter what you do, it doesn't really have effect and you don't have true agency. And you have to remember that you can't control everything. Like in certain cases, the environment is just going to be a massive variable that you just can't control. And no matter how much work you do, no matter how much discipline you have, no matter how mentally fortified you are, the environment is still going to be strong. And only maybe no one can actually resist that type of environment and its effect on you in a negative way, right? And so a lot of you are out here just so centered on yourselves. And it's also a great thing to take that much accountability. But at the same time, like scientifically speaking, it's not a valid perspective because you also have to account for the variable of the environment. And psychologically speaking, the environment is really strong. And so if you're trying to be happy in a toxic environment, like you're really swimming against the current. And, we might not be able to change the environment necessarily just with one person, but at least you can stop gaslighting yourself that it's all you. It's not all you. The environment is really strong and you're trying to do something that's like borderline impossible. And I think for a lot of people that can be almost like a very freeing realization is that like it's not just me. Like this is a crazy environment. People are like developing learned helplessness. There's all kinds of toxic traits here. Like of course I would be feeling bad, right? And of course it would be difficult. So that's just my PSA for the day. Remember that the environment is really strong. And so if you're interacting with individuals that are, I hate to use the word toxic for people. Like I think environments can be toxic, but right, like if you're interacting with individuals that are making things quite difficult, or if the environment is quite difficult, then it makes a lot of sense that you would be struggling. And to be honest, like a lot of us just, the modern world is a difficult environment, psychologically speaking. And so just remember that the environment is strong, and sometimes like changing your environment is really the most efficacious thing to do, because you could do all of the work on yourself that you could possibly do in the entire world, and it still won't fix the environment because the environment is strong. Like it will have a huge impact on you. And I know that's not like a popular perspective in kind of our more like individual focused culture.